Okay, so here we are back on the Mac version. We just created a new notebook called Handouts on our Windows desktop, and we're not seeing Handouts here yet. So let's click the Synchronize button. So once we click the Synchronize button, our Handouts notebook shows up here. So let's go ahead, we'll double click that Handouts notebook and open it up. And within this notebook, we're going to click the new note and create a new note. So we'll call this note Office, let's say Office 2010 Handouts. And what we're going to do here is we're going to use this to upload some different handouts we've created on Microsoft Office products like Word and Outlook specifically. So we'll click the paperclip. You remember, click the paperclip and we can upload different files that we've already created. So we'll go to our desktop and we have one on Microsoft Word about changing the default save location. And then we're going to upload another one called How to Set Up Personal Folders Within Outlook. And we'll open that up as well. So if we were to scroll up and down, you can see we've got two different handouts here. One for Microsoft Word 2010 and then one for Outlook 2010. Now, we've got this notebook and we'd like to share this with one of our colleagues. And so again, we're going to use one of our dummy accounts and I'm going to click on the share button and I'm going to share this notebook. I'm going to click OK and I'm going to share it with an individual. If I wanted to create a public link, for instance, if I was creating a notebook and I wanted anybody to have access to it, I would create a public link. And the way that people would get access to that is I could put that public link in a tweet or put it on my Facebook account, put it on my website, put it in a blog note, email it to whomever. But I'm just going to stick with the individual for right now. And the email address, and then I'm going to choose to allow this person to modify. And if I click this button, it would allow the person I share it with to open the notebook without logging in. I actually want to require the person to log in. That way, when they log in to their Evernote account, they'll see a joined notebook. They'll see that shared notebook within their account. So I'm going to leave that unchecked and can put a message here and say, here are the Office handouts, and then click share. So it says it successfully invited another person. We can close this out and make sure that everything is synced up. And so we'll switch over to the email account so that you can see what this looks like from the person's point of view that I just shared it with. Okay, so here we are looking at the email of the account that we shared that handouts notebook with, and you can see here's the email from the tech demos, and it says you're invited to join. So it says I've shared the notebook's handouts with you, which is the one we just seen. And then here's a little note, here are the Office handouts. So if I click Open Notebook, it's going to ask me to join the notebook, so I'm going to join that. And now this person can see both of the handouts that I've just shared with them. Okay, so we can close that one out. And obviously we can see that one as well. So now they have access to those two notebooks. And you can see under his account here now, it has join notebooks, and handouts is one of those notebooks. Now, if you remember, this demo account is the one that created the EN Hot, or the Evernote hands-on training notebook, and shared that with me. So if I go into that notebook, I can create a new note, and I'm going to call this and I can upload a file to this, and we'll choose the Dragon Dictate file, click open and attach, and so now that file is attached. So then we'll switch back to the main account that we're working with, the Tech Demos account, and see how this all looks after everything has been synced up. Okay, so now we're back on our Windows, or our Mac version, excuse me, and you can see as before, the little notification icon is blue, and it's got a number 2 telling us there's 2 notifications. So if we click on those, we can see 2 things. The Tech Demo A account says join the notebook handouts, so that's good. So remember, we created that notebook called Handouts, and we shared that with our other demo account, this Tech Demo A. We open that up, and they join that account. But then it says the Dragon handout was added to the notebook's EN Hot, so the Evernote hands-on training account. And you remember that other demo account we were using had created that EN Hot notebook and shared it with us. And so that's why you have 2 notes reflected. So we can click on those, and we can see we're now in the EN Hot account, and here is the handout and the note that they sent us. So it says we need to create a course on Dragon Naturally Speaking. Here is a handout. So you can see how easy it is to actually go back and forth with a friend or a colleague if you're working on a project together or just sharing information together. And you can imagine that if you had a whole team of individuals that you were working with, that you could actually share quite a bit of information this way. So let's go ahead, let's go back to our notebooks here real quick, and let's look and see what we've got. Now, you can see all of our different notebooks, but you can notice obviously on 2 of them, you have 2 icons, and these icons here both indicate that these are shared notebooks. The EN Hot notebook was the one that our other demo account shared with us, and the Handouts notebook was the one that we shared with our other demo account. Okay. Now, we have a couple notebooks here that are seemingly related, the handouts and the tutorials. When you have notebooks that are related, you might want to create what's called a stack. Now, you can see we've only got 7 notebooks here. If we were to continue on using this day to day, you can imagine that you could end up with a lot of notebooks. In fact, even on the free account, you can have up to 250 notebooks. So that's a lot. So sometimes to add a little more organization to your notebooks, it would make sense to group them together in what's called a stack. And you can just imagine, just think of a physical notebook. Let's say you had 10 different physical notebooks, little spiral notebooks, and 3 or 4 of them related to, say, an English course that you were taking, or a online marketing project that you were working on. You might want to put all of those notebooks together so that you would have them in one place. And the same is true within your digital notebooks in Evernote. So how do you create a stack? So what I can do is I can go to my tutorials. I can right-click on tutorials, and I can go down here, and you can see all the different choices you have, but one is add to a stack. Now at this point, we don't have any stacks. So what you would do is say new stack. So we're going to say add to stack, new stack, and we're going to call that training. We're going to call that new stack training. So what we do is we're going to right click on the new stack, rename stack, and call it training. So now we have a stack called training. And the other notebook that we have that would naturally go into that training would be handouts. So we're going to right click on our handouts and click on add to stack. And here we have a choice now. We can create a whole new stack, or we can add this to an existing one called training. Now, another thing you can do is simply grab the handouts notebook and drag it over the training. And now you'll have two notebooks within the training notebook.